Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I'm going to do some experimenting today. I found out about this package or set of packages a week or two ago or something like that, and I had no idea they existed for as long as I've been doing compiler API stuff. And these packages are interesting because when I first started learning about Roslyn, you would fire up a new project template and you'd make an analyzer with a code fix, which I never liked some of the defaults and what they were doing. What I really didn't like is the testing project generated a whole bunch of helper code for your tests, which is okay, but I kind of didn't like what they were doing. And to be honest, I don't even remember what that was, or if I did it now, what that would be. So I kind of just started to learn how to write my own tests to get things built up, which was kind of nice because it forced me to learn about some of the underlying things. Like if I go into my tests here for a transpire, which is what I'm going to be using as my experimentation to start with. If I come into here and I would say like this one, at some point down here, I use, where is it? Get Diagnostics. Okay. And I have this test assistance thing, which does this. Okay. If I don't need create document or this or verify code, any of that stuff, then that's one less thing I have to maintain and keep in mind. So again, learning how you built those test methods up, those helpers up, and did some other things in the Roslyn API was a good thing. But I'd much rather be using stuff that's already there. And so it seems like these packages, which let me go to the site to show you what I'm talking about. This is here, and I will make sure that I have a link. I'm trying to put the links now in the descriptions for things that are relevant to what I'm talking about. Like I'm putting a link to the issue here from GitHub that I'm working on in case somebody wants to look. But this talks about the packages that you'd use if you were doing, like for me, it would be NUnit C#. There's analyzer and code fix and refactoring, and what's nice to see here is source generators. So if this turns out to be a good thing with my analyzer and code fixes, I might go into inline mapping and try using the source generator stuff there and see how that works. One thing that's a little concerning, I don't know if concerning is the right word, but here you don't, you get just a very small overview as to how to use some of this stuff. And also with the diagnostics, that you can like say, I expect diagnostics to have a diagnostic at this location. And I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do that, and if the same set of steps need to be performed for each test in a test suite, custom set of verifiers, VS threading uses specific additional files. So, this will be a little bit of a challenge because I have never used any of this stuff before. So I don't know like what kind of documentation. There's a whole bunch of code in here, but in terms of examples and things like that, I may have to do some digging offline. So I don't want to just throw this all out the window if this doesn't work right now. I definitely want to give it a shot, but we will see where this goes. And this might lead to 1 to 4 new episodes. I have no idea. That's the fun of doing this stuff. But we're going to dive in. We're going to find out what this does and all the things that are there and see what we can see. So let's get right into it. I've already made the branch. You can't see it because my picture's down below, but I already have this in a branch. So let's do, actually, let's not do that. Let's actually go into manage Nuget packages. By the way, let me show this. I just heard about this today, Nuget Info. So Nuget.info. This is a Uno app that you can tell it takes a little bit to load because the WebAssembly stuff is loading in, I'm assuming. Would be nice to get a little bit of a indicator here as to what this is doing. Hopefully that didn't spin my stuff too hard. Okay. But this kind of gives you a view that you would see in Visual Studio. Okay. And so I can type in here, you can see I already did rocks. I can just type in rocks and it will go off and it will find it. And then I can click on it and, it gives me some stuff here. It's nice. And I can say open. And then this takes a little bit because it actually downloads it. But then once it downloads it, this actually makes me feel like what you're about to see is the Nuget Package Explorer, where you get to see all this stuff here. And of course, this is picking up that I'm in dark theme. I'm guessing that's what it's doing. So yeah, kind of cool, kind of interesting. Not quite sure what to make of this, but kind of nice, kind of interesting. So what happens if I click on the image? Yep, there you go. Got the image right there. So I got the license here, but yeah, it shows that too. As if I start digging through code here, it just is going to be like, oh, that's your DLL. Ah, but it does get, PBB info. Well, sources. You got sources? No? Oh, now you're hung. You're not doing anything. Metadata references? Maybe? Yes? Possibly? No? I don't know. So there's no indicator here to tell you that it's actually doing something or not. So that might be something they want to work on a little bit. But again, just kind of cool. It should be the same. Yeah, because I put them in both directories. Okay, just something I found that was kind of cool. Anyway, let's give this a whirl. So what we're going to want is, for right now, the analyzers. We'll add the code fix one in a little bit. And there we go. We're going to say install. And I accept. There we go. Now, we were saying we have 2 updates. What are the updates that we have? Okay, you're saying we have to, I got to take that off. Okay. And C# workspaces and tests. We'll hold off on that until we think this is good. Okay, so we got that there. Now let's go through and let's see here. This is calls has using. I don't think we would use anything from the test stuff here, but we're not using anything. I think I was at least good enough to say everything in test assistance is what I need. If I really wanted to be brutal, I could just comment this whole thing out or delete it, but I don't want to quite do that just yet. Maybe when I get to a point where I think I've got everything done, then I will delete it and see, well, what happened. Yeah. So this one, we want to verify supported diagnostics. And this is okay because we're just newing this up. We're getting the immutable array, and then we're just seeing, does it have everything in here that we think it does have? So that one can stick around. Here's a test assistance one. Okay. So I'm going to have to hop back here and look through its wonderful documentation and say, you want to do like, the documentation is written on the assumption that the users will alias a verifier or code fix type to the name verify within the context of a test class. So we're going to do that, except it's not going to be XUnit. We're going to say this. We're going to say NUnit, and this will be that. Okay. And now you're going to say, well, yeah, we don't. That's weird. Transpire. Oh, is this crap that you can't? Yeah, you actually have to put the whole type name in there. Oh, I hate that they do that. Okay, but we're not using it yet, which we're about to. So we're going to say here, verifier verify. And what did they say in the example? They're saying you do using users writing tests involving compiler errors may also want to import the static members of the diagnostic result type, which provides a helper methods compiler error, compiler warning. Well, I don't like that. Actually, I was just doing my first C#10 presentation, and I was showing that you can use the global usings, but you can also do like the global using static and have a global using static for system console, and then you can just have write line in your code. And that it's like, okay, that works, but I don't really know if I want to go that far. Anyway, so analyzer with no diagnostics. That's what we want. We want to say await analyzer dot I'm already typing it in wrong, right? Verify analyzer async which we should be putting in the source, and we can also be putting in expected diagnostic results. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to say code. Okay, and does this return anything? It returns a task that just tells you that. Verifies the analyzer produces the specified diagnostics for the given source. So this is kind of weird because this should give you nothing because you're saying I don't expect diagnostics, so therefore I should not. Ergo, I should not see any. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just run this one and see what happens. Again, I've resigned myself to the fact that when I'm doing recordings with OBS that Visual Studio just slows down, and that, you know, it is what it is. So I don't know who to blame or what. I have been doing a little bit more 2022 because of the C#10 stuff that I'm working on. It just works in 2022, and this failed. Anyway, so 2022 is actually getting better. I'm on like preview 3.1 and it's better. Okay, why did it fail? What failed? Mismatch between number of diagnostics returned, expected 0, actual 1. Really? Because when I did it, I got 0. That's, well, this is now going to be kind of a bear. What? Okay. Program using top levels. Oh. Okay. I got away with it because the way I was doing it, if I go to test assistance, get diagnostics async, is I was just saying, with the source, I was just parsing it, getting a tree, and just shoving it in, and it all worked. That's not the case here anymore. So what I want to do is say, analyze when nothing is made. And by nothing, I mean the datetime stuff. Okay, so I can just have, let's take this code, except usage is not going to, okay. Public class usage is going to do nothing. So we say make, and we say new. Okay, so we don't even have, in fact, I could take the using out of here. We don't even have a using type. Okay, now let's run this and see what happens. Because we should get no diagnostics with this. It's still failing. Oh my God. What? Oh, well, it would help if I actually, stupid compiler telling me when I'm stupid. It's being so picky, like it's trying to make me write code that's correct. There we go, so it passes. Okay. As we would expect. Okay. All right. Now this one is we shouldn't get anything either. Okay. So if we say here, this, we should get nothing. Because that's okay. Right? Is it? Should it? Wait a minute. Analyze when datetime kind is used, not in datetime constructor. Okay, no, hold on. Wait a minute. Find datetime kind usage in constructor. Oh, because I'm not passing it to datetime. I'm just arbitrarily using this. So this is now one of those things I come back to and going, why would you ever use datetime kind anyway? There's now actually date only, time only, and datetime only types, or only datetime or something like that. And yeah, there's a talk I'm actually putting together, or I'm planning on putting together if conferences accept it. And it's all about all the new stuff in .NET 6 and the APIs. And I don't mean web service thingy APIs, REST APIs. I mean just APIs. And the datetime stuff is new. Okay, now, anyway, getting back to it. So in this case, again, we're going to have to hijack like full code. Okay, but what we want to do is say code under test. It's going to be this, and we're going to say date time make, and now we're going to say here. Yes, so we're going to, and we could actually not use that. But again, I think this should give us no diagnostics. Okay. So let's do that. And we shouldn't see anything wrong with this. And we don't. Good. Okay. Analyze when datetime constructor uses datetime kind UTC. Now this should also be okay. I'm really debating, should I, let's be a little bit more explicit. The whole target type new thing is still something I'm debating on my head when you should and should not use it. Yeah, like almost in this way you could argue and say, yes, you should do it. But anyway, so in this case, we want to say date, time, kind, UTC. Okay. And again, as we have been saying before, we should see nothing. I've also seen in some examples where people have like this weird two characters, like a pipe and a thing. I'm not sure what exactly it is, to say, here's where you should actually see code that's broken. I know I've seen that in Roslyn stuff, like briefly, but it never dawned on me as actually what that is. I think that's a way to say, this is the code that should have actually failed based on this analyzer, which we're about to run into, because now we're saying this should be local, okay? But guess what? Let's make sure we've got the right code in here, or the wrong code, as one may say. In this case, yeah, see, we have a target type new here as well. So anyway, okay, so here's where we actually need to say we're going to have a diagnostic. If I go back to their code here, what do? They say verify diagnostic. So if I have our diagnostic, I can say verify diagnostic. Creates a Microsoft diagnostic result representing expected diagnostic for the single diagnostic descriptor supported by the analyzer. Well, that's an interesting one. So this is assuming that you can actually, do they have a way for you to say, this is the like, can I make a diagnostic result compiler error? Okay. So you could actually create one if you wanted to. So I could say diagnostic result, and let's just do the full one here, dot empty diagnostic result, compiler error, compiler warning. Do these actually have to be like compilers, or can they be your own empty diagnostic result? Yeah, but I want to make one. Creates a Microsoft diagnostic for a compiler warning or a compiler error. I don't want to do that. Oh, can you say, var x is equal to new diagnostic result? You can. Okay. Well, that's a little bit, okay. So if you want to actually make one of these up, you can new them up. At least that's the way it seems like you can. Okay. So going back up to here, where was I seeing this? I was like freaking out because I saw the single one. Yeah, that's when I was doing a diagnostic here. So if you, I guess you're saying is if you know diagnostic. Oh, is that a, oh, well, if you knew, or if you actually read the documentation, Jason, you would know. So in the case where this one, I think only has one. Yeah, that's this one. So we don't have to specify with arguments. There's something in here like with location. Do I really care about that? Or can I just say, in this case, well, what I could do instead of that, I can just say that. Because in this case, what should happen is we actually get our diagnostic, which should have all the things that we expect. We've already verified that it's the one and only diagnostic from our thing. We don't need to set it up. Does this work? It does not. Oh, that sucks. Why does it suck? Expected a project diagnostic with no location. Diagnostic result. So you actually have to put a span in there? You know, I just don't care where it is. I really want to figure, okay, let me do this, because I think in the message it was telling you what the code you actually kind of need to do. Does that work? Well, we don't want the comma there, obviously. See, that passes, which makes sense. It's saying, okay, everything that is a diagnostic from that, but it's got to be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 53, I bet would be, where is that? That's 46. Yeah, right here, that's 53. So it's basically saying that is what it is. Hold on, for one thing, I got to take a bathroom break, but I'm also going to look up and see what is that character thing that I've seen before, because I think you can do something like that or something like that. It's some weird 2 combination of characters or some odd character to say, I don't want to have a span. I just want to say this is where that should happen. And I'm going to go see if I can find out what that is. So I will be right back. Okay, after doing some digging, I found out that it is the bracket pipe and then the pipe bracket symbol. And then you don't need to specify that you're doing a diagnostic, because if you do that, you're saying here, I'm expecting that the diagnostic that is the single diagnostic, at least this is my interpretation of what's going on, is that it should be here and here. Now, if I did it twice, this should also be okay, because it's saying I expected to have 2 locations of the single diagnostic in these 2 spots. Actually, this is going to break because this is wrong code. So if it fails, let's do that. So, yeah, let's have make and make 2 and see if that works. And that does. Okay, good. So that's what I expect. So then you don't even have to say verify diagnostic here. You can just do that and be consistent, but the assertion is in the code. Now that feels a little strange to me. I have to be honest. Not entirely thrilled about that, but yeah. So now we're saying instead of new daytime, we're just saying new. And again, await. I guess if you want to be expressive in your code to say, you know, that's where the error should be. And then if you got multiple diagnostics, then you could specify the diagnostics in there. So, okay, I'm getting the hang of this API. And now all of them pass. So, boom, we've now gone down to that. Is that more or less? I don't know. I guess it depends on your view of it. But, you know, if we had a, we could arguably make this so it's producing all this code, though again, when you're doing these literal whatever strings, I don't like having to have something, do them. I do like this though, that you can specify this is where the location should be. Okay, so we're actually close to being what I would consider to be an episode. So this is just the first analyzer, and we have more to go. And then I want to do the code fix next. So in the next episode, I'm going to do the code fix, see what that does, and then we should start being able to fall down faster and get the rest of these done. Okay, so I'm going to take a little break, and then I will come back and start recording another episode. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.